The roots of this conflict date back to the late 18th century, when the Russian Empire won territories from the Ottoman Empire. These spanned what is now eastern Ukraine, the Crimean Peninsula, and western parts of modern-day Moldova. Over time, some of these territories became part of the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic under the USSR. To this day, these regions are home to majorities of ethnic Russian populations. Fast forward to 2014, and when asked on the Russian claim on Crimea, Vladimir Putin replied, "I would like to remind you that what was called New Russia back in the Tsarist days, Kharkov, Donetsk, and Odessa, were not part of Ukraine back then. These territories were given to Ukraine in the 1920s by the Soviet government. Why? Who knows? Russia feels threatened by being surrounded by NATO countries. That's why Russia doesn't want Ukraine to join NATO or the EU. Increased NATO forces in the Baltic region, threats to Russian security by NATO's missile defense system are only some of the frequent accusations made by Putin. NATO refuted Putin's claims, stating that its presence in Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland is only at the request of those nations. And as part of NATO's transparency, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania hosted Russian arms control inspectors as recently as June 2021. NATO did invite Russia to cooperate on missile defense back in 2013, an invitation extended to no other partner. Russia refused this offer. Finally, an increased presence of NATO forces in recent years was only in direct response to Russia's use of military force against its neighbours. It's also a matter of principle, as Ukrainians feel they have every right to decide with whom to align. In fact, Ukraine's government committed to start the application to join the EU in 2024 and also has ambitions to join NATO. Political games do not stop here. In a bid to use cleaner energy, Germany made a deal with Russia for a series of direct gas pipelines running beneath the Baltic Sea, bypassing Ukrainian and Polish pipelines. While Germany has maintained that this is only a commercial project, Nord Stream 2 has obvious geostrategic consequences for Ukraine, and it's now a strong political asset for Russia. The Russian army is much bigger than the Ukrainian. It's not a regional conflict, but a full-scale invasion. The plan seems to be to request surrender and establish a Russian puppet state. The takeover of Chernobyl, as well as some of Putin's threats, raise fears of nuclear escalation. Taking over Ukraine is one thing. Controlling a population of 60 million is another. Ukrainians are armed and willing to fight. The sanction plan of the West is to cripple the Russian economy by skyrocketing inflation, making funding the war impossible. While keeping an eye on China and Taiwan, a spillover to NATO or EU nation would lead to all-out war.